forgotten about God. They lost trust in God, and they were they were paying the price. The Midianites and the Amalekites,
Yes.
they'd become very dominant. They were the baddies. So what were these people like, Paul?
Well, sorry. The first thing you notice in the passage is almost a throwaway verse. Chapter 6 starts with, the Israelites did evil in the eyes of the Lord. They weren't following God, so how could God possibly bless them if they're not following God? So they turned away from God, so God brought these people in, the Midianites and the Amalekites. Now it describes them as locusts. They used to camp and they'd steal all the food, and then when the harvest is gone, they go back to their own land and live off the proceeds. They're evil, evil people. Yeah.
Okay. And God, what does God think about this then?
Elsewhere it says, God had heard the Israelites cry for help. And he'd already prepared the man for that time. It's amazing how why we've done this is it's a beautiful story. And trying to get 3 chapters into one talk is quite But if you read this at home, you'll really get the benefit of this story. Now, God already had a plan. What does Joash, his name, mean? It's got the Yod at the front, which is Yah. That means God. Yah. And it means God has provided. What does Gideon's name mean? A great warrior. Before Gideon was born, when his dad named him, God knew, God had a plan. God has provided a great warrior. It's in the text. God had a plan. He knew there was a time when Israel would need him. Now, so God has prepared this great man.
But Gideon, what did Gideon think when the angel came down? What did Gideon think about this?
Well, I like the character of Gideon because he's humble. Like quite a lot of people when they're called, they're humble. Why me, God? I'm the least. He's from the tribe of Manasseh, a small tribe, half tribe. He's not one of the great tribes like Judah or Reuben. He's from Manasseh, one of the outback people.
That's what makes you feel.
And he's actually, when we find him, he's a hard-working man. Twice we encounter him, he's working. First he's in the wine press. But he's not doing wine pressing, he's doing freshening out the grain. He's resourceful. The Midianites would see them. To trample out the grain, you need to winnow it, you need to get rid of the chaff. But he said, if you're up there on the hills where the wind is, the Midianites would see you. So instead, he hides in a wine press where the Midianites can't see him. Not very good wind in the wine press, because it's lower down. He's resourceful, tries his best. The second time we encounter him, he's in charge of an ox, a ploughing team. He's got men under his control. He's a boss. He does. And they respect him. They do what he says. Even if it says that they did when they trampled down the asher pole. It's at night. They even got up in the middle of the night to do his bidding. He's a man of character, isn't he? Oh yes, we got to yes. Gideon requests proof. The first proof is he prepares a meal for the angel. Fire comes out of the rock. Those two symbols are important, aren't they? We've got a rock, which is Jesus. Fire is the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit comes out of the rock. Isn't that amazing? And consumes the offering. The second time he has this test of the fleece. says, it's not bad to go, did I really understand that, God? First time he says, put the fleece out, make the ground wet and the fleece dry. And God did. The second time he says, make the fleece wet and the ground dry. And God did. So he tested God's purpose for him. So he's a man who has a relationship with God.
So then we know that God has chosen Gideon, and Gideon realises that he has been chosen. And he also realises that he has to be brave, bold and strong, which is handy because that's our next song. So if you are able, with the 300 men that land, so we'll explain a bit about this. Because 300 people in an army, surely more would have signed up.
Actually, another bit of Gideon's character is that when he puts a call out, 30,000 people turn up. This is a beating nation, it's been oppressed for years, but Gideon's call, 30,000 people turn up. And that's too many for God. Because God doesn't need us. He just uses a few very often. One person's prayer can make a difference in the whole world. One person can change the place. So God says to Gideon, that's too many. I don't need 30,000. Thank you very much. So he selects out those who are a bit scared, quaking at the knees, etc. Those who are scared can go home. So he's left with 10,000. There's still too many. Right, go and get them to drink at the pool. And only 300 drink like we would drink. We kneel down, get the water in our hands, sip from our hands. The others shove their face in the water. Now what's that mean? It's there for a purpose. If you've got your face in the water, are you on guard? Can you see the enemy approaching you? Are you actually worthy to be in the army if you slap like that? So he chooses 300 in the end.
And as you say, we'll make choices as well. We will choose the best people for the job. I mean, let's imagine I'm organising a party. So just a show of hands, who can bake cakes? Perfect, so you'll be in my catering team. And who can make animal balloons? No, well, we haven't got a team for that. Oh, we have.
I can make a dog.
That's fine. So you can be the entertainment section.
Thanks.
And hands up if you're good at organising people. Ah, perfect. Grace has got the job. So we choose people because of their gifts and their talents, and we choose the best people to perform a task. In the same way that God chose 300, he didn't need 30,000 because some of those people would not have been good for the job. Similarly, we do the same at St Paul's. We hope we've done the same for our All Together service, choosing the right people for the right tasks. And we do it here, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah, there's all sorts of jobs that we can do. And sometimes it's just being there at the right time, being there with God. Gideon had a good relationship with God already. And knowing God's will, when he wasn't one who, he detested the Baals and the Asherah poles, hated them. But at that time, he tolerated it, but then he had the guts to stand up and say, this is God's will for my people. I'm going to do the right thing. That's all it takes. People standing up and saying, no, not on my watch. I'm going to do the right thing. That doesn't necessarily mean going off and fighting. You know, some of us are fighting the Amalekites or Midianites days are a bit past it. but praying, supporting those who are off to the fight. Somebody packed the lunches for those 30,000, didn't they? Somebody sent them off with love, made sure they were dressed, made sure their uniforms was good. So there was a whole backing group behind those in the front. Now I'll just cover something, it's just astounding. Do you remember that phrase Paul talks about, we have treasures in jars of clay? Where does he get that from? It's from here, I believe. They had these jars and they had a torch inside, a candle of some sort. What's inside the earth? We're made of earth, aren't we? What's inside that? The light of Christ. So when these evil Midianites saw light suddenly in their camp, when those around us suddenly see the light of Christ in us in this frail clay pot, what do? They run. They attack each other. Isn't that amazing? Yeah.
And you say about the jars and the light. So this leads nicely as to how that battle actually went, how it occurred, and how Gideon and his army won. So we're going to do a little demonstration here. Actually, the children hopefully will like this because they get to blow a kazoo.
We
so
need
if they
children
want to come and join in and be part of Gideon's army, that'd be great.
Got kazoos?
But not just the children. So if we hand these out.
Yep.
Because what Gideon did is he armed his 300 strong army with trumpets or kazoos.